player playing for. I actually don't know the team. I'm really sorry.
Immortals.
Immortals. That's what I thought. All right, playing. My bad. Top right-hand corner. Zerg player representing Immortals. We have WarreN. I had it written down, and believe it or not, the sticky note fell off. And so right as I was about to say it fell off, I was like, no!
It's always how it goes. But either way, his opponent is going to be in the bottom left-hand corner, playing as the Purple Protoss.
Some alliteration.
His current tag is from Team Boreal, BlackBearMe. But he might be better known to some as Lucky. That's what, by the way, he's requested we call him for most of the cast, because most people don't know him by this tag.
But I feel like BlackBearMe is such a better name. Lucky is just the standard Korean, like, okay, we're just going to pick a noun or like a one small word and 5 characters.
Yeah.
But BlackBearMe definitely is, it's different, but we will be calling him Lucky, Protoss player. Going for a Forge First Fast Expand, which generally I feel like you don't see in these higher leagues, just Forge Fast Expands, period. You seem to see a lot more Gate Fast Expands, but...
Nah, you see them fast play, especially from the Koreans, because they do this sort of stuff. They do these cannon rushes, and WarreN is not really prepared for this.
Yeah, actually, I take that back. As I was saying that, I didn't even notice he was doing the cannon rush right there. So it's definitely a lot more common than what we're seeing right here. Cannon rush going down at the natural of WarreN. WarreN has the Overlord, sees that. I'm sure he knows about the cannon rush right here, even though he doesn't have vision of it from this hatch.
He sees it now. He definitely knows now, and we're going to see a lot of drones coming off the line, coming down here. This actually might be a bit of an undercommitment of drones. The 2 cannons are almost finished, and BlackBearMe can actually... He could pull some shenanigans here of his own if he tries to wall in the pros, but I don't think he even needs to do that much. I think these 2 cannons are both going to finish up. One of them, albeit on a little bit low health, but they're going to trade off very, very efficiently for quite a few drones. Although, WarreN, it looks like, is going to save this hatchery.
I'm quite surprised by taking so little damage. I mean, I know he has lost 6 drones right there, but still quite surprised he took so little damage with that. I feel like normally you'd probably pull a lot more drones for that, but maybe not. At least in my experience of those situations, you really need to pull a lot. But he handled that quite well. Only lost 6 drones in that fact, and is pushing out with 4 lings, which won't really be able to do anything versus this cannon and this kind of half wall we got going, but definitely will be able to get some scouting information off. And actually, with a little bit of micro, I'm sure they could get into the natural and go up into the main if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, 4 lings, I'm not sure. 4 lings should be able to get 2 past the cannon, maybe 3. But,
yeah,
I don't know. Oh, okay, 3.
I guess, yeah, 3.
Nice.
It's good.
So, yeah, they're going to go around. 3 lings is enough to actually be really, really annoying. They can kill probes pretty quickly. Should be able to get up into the main as well, and be a bit more annoying around there. Just the scouting information is really, really nice as well, because BlackBearMe, with his Cybercore finishing up, this is sort of when he's thinking about throwing down a big tech option, be it a Robo or a Stargate or a Twilight or something like that. And obviously he can't really do that. At least if he does, it'll be scouted pretty much immediately by WarreN. And behind this, WarreN he's starting to make up the losses incurred by the cannon rush and just looking pretty good, looking at third base.
Yeah, right now, Luck playing quite well, only actually losing 1 probe there. Oh, he may lose a second here. The Zealot should push it back. Mothership Core will definitely push this back. And on this angle, if they try to run out of the base, they will be killed by that cannon, but it looks like they will go for a little bit better there. Trying to snipe another probe. 1 more probe goes down. Trying to get a third down, so 3 so far, and it will be cleaned up after that. But even losing those, WarreN is going for that 3rd base right now on the 3rd hatch. No tech yet, which isn't too surprising, only on 2 gas and is natural. I almost feel like you should go for the 2 gas in your main, just because if there's any early pressure coming out from the Protoss player Luck, you may not want to lose that gas, but that's a little bit stylistically choice.
Maybe. I have noticed that before, that most players do choose to go for the gas in their natural. I think it's more of a scouting denial thing, because you pretty much know that your opponent's going to have between 2 and 4 gas at this point. Yeah. And the natural is, of course, much easier to scout. So they scout the natural and see 2 gases, but they may not get the chance to get into the main and won't know whether there's 2 gases there. Whereas if everybody takes their gas in the main, then the 2 gas in the natural is a bit more of an indicator that they're going up to 4. But I don't think that's the best answer. There must be a reason, but I don't exactly know why.
I think that's a very good point, though. We do see the Mothership Core of Luck trying to push back these Lings right here. Or actually, not really pushing back, I guess, doing some aggression right there. The Queen will push it back. I actually agree there may be a better reason. The only thing I can think of is you don't want to... You're building buildings in your main with those drones, so maybe you don't want to have to worry about saturating that, but I feel like that's too simple, so probably the scouting is definitely a good idea. And it looks like he will be doing that. Going up to 4 gases in his main. Lings will kill that Zealot, won't get anywhere, but +1 attack for Luck is just almost done here. And it'll be very easy to defend, especially with 2 sentries, and no speed yet also, so this should be quite easy to defend for Luck.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit more difficult for BlackBearMe or Lucky to defend. Sorry,
Lucky.
WarreN to defend. Yeah, no, it'd be a bit more difficult for WarreN to defend because the +1 Zealot 4 gate is going to be hitting pretty soon. He's got a bunch of drones on the way. He's going to lose his third from this. He might even lose the game. This is not something he can underestimate. These +1 Zealots are going to tear through lanes. Roach is on the way. He will be able to push it off, but his third is going down.
Yeah, definitely. I was almost going to say from WarreN, he may be able to do a flank there, but with speed not quite being done yet. It'll be done now, but earlier on he may have been able to flank that pylon and taken it down, but it doesn't look like the Zealot's tearing through those lanes. Only 2 Roaches. Hardly can do enough here, actually 3 Roaches, but still can't really do enough. Running away from those Broodlings, and we'll have a great position. These Zealots right here may actually just be able to take this Queen out, which will be great. I'm not sure if they can break through these Roaches with some micro, but oh, with a Time Warp, beautiful from Lucky here. Doing a lot of damage here. A couple transfuses trying to go down, but it doesn't look like that'll actually be enough. Zealot's doing a great job, maybe pushed back here, but I think they've done a ton of damage right here. Mothership Core saying, I'm going to get out of here, actually turning around to the left, pivoting and taking out some drones right here, while these Zealots work on the Queens. Actually may take down another Queen, dead. Taking down the 3rd Queen, trying to go for it, but it will just be barely pushed back, but still a Zealot and a Mothership Core in that mineral line trying to do some damage there. They will be pushed back, though. And so far, 11 workers killed on WarreN's side.
Yeah, fantastic work there by Lucky. That's exactly how you wanted that to go, I feel. Done so much damage to the Zerg economy. Not only just taking out the third base. I mean, taking out the third base is generally like your ideal scenario. But then if you can get into the natural, you trade off for so much of their army. You kill a few workers. I mean, this Mothership Core has 8 kills right now. I'm pretty sure about at least half of those are workers. And now Lucky's follow-up Immortal Sentry push is going to just be so devastating to WarreN. The whole key to Zerg, both holding pressure and putting on pressure, is the economy you can get up before it. And having had his economy crippled by that +1 Zealot 4 gate is going to be so difficult. Nigh on impossible to hold off this Immortal Sentry.
Yeah, definitely, especially with just so many sentries in this composition right now. And so few Roaches, just a couple good force fields could almost just completely remove WarreN's army from the game here. It looks like there are some Hydralisks being pumped out, and actually Roach speed is done, I believe. Let me check that to double... Yes, Roach speed is done, so a little bit of advantage there. Going for that kind of tricky third base right there, I feel like WarreN was saying, okay, he's probably going to attack up from the left again, maybe. See if I can make that happen, but it doesn't look like he will, especially in view of the Zelnaga Tower. Pushing up right here, I fear... these sentries could do it with the force field, but I feel like just a couple Zealots, he may actually do an attack up the right-hand side. Lucky might, but I feel like a couple Zealots with this composition always is really, really helpful in a lot of scenarios as Protoss for Zerg.
Yeah, the Zealot tanking is nice, and I mean they're a really cheap, effective way to get HP, and they just do a lot of DPS that they can actually close the enemy. I'm a little bit surprised to see WarreN sort of going... Lucky going back home. I've got them confused because my things are the wrong way around. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised to see Lucky going back home. He has cancelled that third base, and he can sort of continue to do so with Warp Prison and Zealots. But I really feel he could have pushed onwards for a bit more damage if he could find a good angle. It's just a bit difficult to attack up that ramp. But if he'd gone round and attacked through the first third that WarreN took, I feel like he would have done pretty well. As it is, though, it looks like he's going to try and secure his own third base and go on with the game. He's got his Colossus deck up, so he's in a pretty decent position to do so.
Yeah, most definitely. Lucky in a nice position right here, trying to take his third, but I always love that creep at the third of a Protoss player. In any situation, the Zerg always can take advantage of that. It's very simple. Trying to move up this ramp with the Roaches, but there's just too many Stalkers right there. I don't actually think WarreN can take this battle right now, especially with the amount of sentries. I mean, even if half the army gets up, just push that back with force fields, and he'll be in a great position to kill the army. And Colossus is about very soon. Actually, first Colossus is already out. So I feel like Lucky definitely is in a really good position. I'm not really sure how WarreN wants to break up this ramp, except for right now he may have had a little bit of a time right there he could have, but it does not look like that'll happen. Now for WarreN right here, he does have a little counterattack from Lucky coming to the left-hand side of the map, but right now for WarreN, I feel like maybe not so far behind Economy, but definitely his army just cannot engage the current army of Lucky. It's just not quite enough to actually do that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I like this little Zealot run by. It's just a small bit pressed, but it's going to take WarreN all the way back home so Lucky can secure his third base. And yeah, I agree. I don't think WarreN's going to be able to get up that ramp by the natural into the natural third base sort of area. If he wants to push in, I think it's a lot easier, in fact, for both sides, whether you're Protoss or Zerg, to push around through the gold base towards the third. Then when you're attacking in, you don't have that sort of low ground disadvantage where you're trying to attack up a ramp. You're not attacking into a choke point or anything. But now, WarreN successfully got up to Hive Tech. He's getting a Roach Hydra Viper composition on the way. His upgrades are a little behind where they'd typically be, and the whole thing's just a few minutes late, but there's been delays for both players in taking damage from attacks and committing towards putting on attacks. But BlackBearMe doesn't really have much of an answer to the Vipers. He's got the Colossi, but he doesn't have any like a lot of Tempests or Phoenixes or particularly High Templar, which would be the ideal answer. So if one can get a bunch of energy on these Vipers, he can yank these 2 Colossi or 3 Colossi, really no problem.
Lucky does have so many Blink Stalkers right here, and especially with these Hallucinated Colossi, great strategy, great force fields also, cutting down a lot of the army before it can even get in range. 2 Colossi pulled, but one of them Hallucination, another Colossi really nicely pulled because there is an Overseer over the army. But with so many Blink Stalkers, I feel like it's, even without those Colossus, just in a great position. One Colossus will survive, targeting down that third base. Now there is another third base for WarreN from the fourth base going down, but I'm not sure really how well it's going to work for him. He is going to saturate it right now, right off the bat, but right now just Lucky has so many Stalkers, and especially with Blink very close to being done. If he Chrono Boosts that, he should be done by the time he makes it up the ramp. But in such a great position right here, I'm not really sure what WarreN can do. It's just Lucky, just with his macro very early on in the gates, produced so many gateway units. It's just very hard for the Zerg to deal with. But now with a little bit more roaches, he may be able to. But like I was saying, with the gateway units, so many right off the bat, but also that takes a lot of the damage, allowing just these 2 Immortals right here to just cut away through any roaches. So it's definitely a very nice composition here. From WarreN, really, I feel like just lots of, I don't know if I want to say a lot of Hydras is exactly what he's doing, but I feel like just the best thing against this in his current tech would just be mass Hydra.
You still need a fair few roaches. Even if it's just against Blinkstalk, you still need quite a few, because Blinding Cloud is not quite good enough protection just by itself. But yeah, certainly much more Hydras will be good, but his economy I don't think is quite good enough to support that, despite the fact that he has quite a lot of gas tanks. He's going to try and go for Concave, but I mean, Lucky's army just looks so much bigger.
Big.
Capulla's going to get one of the Colossi, but it's still, there's one more. There's a ton of Blinkstalkers. There's a load of, there's a couple of sentries left over and a bunch of Immortals as well. But it looks like WarreN's actually doing a decent job of pushing this back. He's advancing forwards onto the Blinkstalker army, and Lucky's getting overrun a little bit. But reinforcement warpins are going to drive WarreN back.
Yeah. Now there is 25 roaches that just popped right now, and that'll be really good versus this Stalker Force. But if this Stalker Force can just get in and snipe this third base, there is another fourth base actually going down. But really, if they can just snipe this base, not even the drones, it'll put Lucky in such an amazing position. Nice force fields, trying to keep out these roaches. Really, I feel like he wants to target down this hatch right here, because I don't really think he can, or maybe he can actually take this arm, but I feel like definitely it'd be wiser to target down the hatch and blink back.
Nah, I think he can get the army. There's a lot of Blinkstalkers there, and Blinkstalkers are pretty good. And yeah, with the roach tanking on, Hydrolists really don't hold up that well on their own to Blinkstalkers. And yeah, the aggressive Blink forward gets from the Queens, takes them out. GG, and Lucky takes the lead. Okay, everybody, welcome back. And as my wonderful Coco said, it is game 2. It's Varney Reset Station, and it is the same 2 players as game 1, because they're not done yet. First one is the Teal Zerg, down in the bottom spawn in 6 o'clock position. Final research station from Team Immortals. It is WarreN.
And his opponent in the top spawn position of Vanity Research Station, currently up 1 game in this best of 3, representing Boreal Gaming, it is BlackBearMe. Really lucky, but his tag right now will be BlackBearMe. Is he changing his name, or does it just happen to be what he signed up with?
I don't know. I think it's some kind of rip-off take on PandaBearMe, but I'm not sure.
Well, because what I was always thinking is if these two players didn't really know about each other, that'd be really cool if they just happened to be BlackBearMe and PandaBearMe. That, you know what I mean? That they had nothing to do with each other, and they just kind of had those names. But yeah, doesn't look like we'll see that. WarreN starting off the game with a very aggressive lane push right off the bat, and actually pulling drones. For a second, I was like, is he just doing something weird? But no, definitely pulling drones for this very first attack. BlackBearMe actually doing a gateway expand, which will favor him just a little bit.
Just a bit. He's going to wall off. A forge is going down.
Oh my word! Oh, it's some good micro.
And extra walling off against this pylon. It's going to be. I don't know how to call this. This is not something we see very often.
Really,
WarreN. If WarreN can break through this, he'll be in a pretty good position. But he's so all in with this. This is the most all in you can get. All your work is coming. I like the drone stacking. That's really cool. Enabling all the drones to get all their attacks off at the same time on one target. And desperately calling out a Zealot, but WarreN's broken through. How much damage can he get done?
I think there's going to be a lot of damage right here, because really what I was going to say, if he can manage to get a Zealot out, that'll really be okay. If he can manage to get a Zealot out before the units get in, that'll pretty much be game ending right there, but he will take it out before the Zealot gets out. Tons of lings right now. He's actually got 19 lings here. Sorry, not 19. 15 lings. Trying to target down these cannons. Really right here, the saving grace for Lucky will be attempting to do some probe control against the cannons. Well, that happens, but won't see it. WarreN takes game 2. Welcome back to ASL Challenger League Group F. And on Deadwing, the lovely Zerg player representing Immortals on the bottom left-hand corner, currently taking back very swift game 2 with actually a 7 pull and a drone pull. It is the teal player, WarreN.
And his opponent is going to be up in the top right-hand position of Deadwing. It's the purple Protoss player from Boreal Gaming, Lucky. Currently playing on BlackBearMe, and it looks like he's going really aggressive with this. Two probes going out on a 13 forge, I believe that was 13 or 14. He's definitely wanting to put on some cannon pressure, and I think that's an excellent choice. It served him pretty well in the first game.
Yeah, definitely helped him a lot. Helped him a lot in the first game, getting some early attack or killing some early drones, which let him snowball into a victory. And definitely, this is a lot bigger of a map. So I'm curious whether WarreN, obviously, he probably doesn't do the 7 pool drone pull very often, but I'm curious whether he likes playing the very aggressive Ling early style. Does not look like we'll see that though in this game, or actually, it looks like we may see it. A little before hatch quite early, and can make those lings right now, but only making 2 and no gas yet actually. So kind of interesting. I feel like you'd probably get a gas out pretty soon and maybe put 2 guys into it just to have speed on such a large map.
Yeah, maybe. I think he's just trying to play a bit defensively because, of course, it is such a large map. He knows they're in pardon me. He knows they're in cross positions, so he's got that going to his advantage for the defense as well. And obviously, like, speed is better for attack than defense. Zerglings with speed are obviously just always better than Zerglings without speed. But the big advantage, one of the big advantages about speedlings is the reinforcement rate, because they are so much faster. They just get to the enemy's base so much faster, and you get that extra boost. But when you're defending, that doesn't matter so much. It's just the in-combat boost, and I feel like that's better invested into a bit more economy early on. Then when it comes time to defend against any kind of pressure, you've got the few extra units. You may well have speed in any case. These speedlings aren't going to get in.
Yeah, it was like that actually one of those lings could have got in just barely, but he kind of sent it the wrong direction. But yeah.
Yeah,
The second Ling would have almost barely got in. I really like as a Zerg player doing a lot of heavy early aggression with Lings versus Protoss, and so I believe if you send 2 in, only one will just barely survive if you can get it across. But how he sent it in, and had the most area, it had the most time at least in that photon cannon's range.
It depends. It depends a little bit on what kind of SimCity the Protoss player's gone for in their wall off. Like this, I think it depends. Basically, either 1 or 2 Lings die when they're running through the wall.
Yeah.
So if you send 3 in, 1's guaranteed to get through, and so on and so on.
Yeah. We do see from WarreN going this almost same thing he did in the very first game, double gas in his natural, but going for the third base early on, so pretty much the same thing he did in the first game. And from Lucky, almost not the same thing, but also a gateway not a gateway fast span. Actually, first game into the cannon rush, but definitely he has the opportunity to go into some heavy aggression after this if he plays it right. And I think definitely WarreN has to be very, very, very careful about that.
I agree. I definitely think Lucky is looking for that aggression, crawling out his warp gate, and they're the gateways we see going down. How many is that? That's 3 gateways. Only 3 gateways is not their heaviest commitment, but still, it's enough to put a little bit of pressure onto that third base. But it's a bit more difficult to do that on Deadwing than it was on Overgrowth in Game 1, because the Zerg player or the defending player on Overgrowth with the third base will have that slight high ground advantage that they can use to get the first shots off in basically any engagement. At least certainly in the early game. Yeah.
These Lings won't be able to do anything here, especially with the Mothership Core coming in. We'll actually, I'm guessing they're all going to die actually right here. These sentries should be in a good position. Metabolic Boost only coming down now for WarreN, so he's still going to be pretty lacking on the map control. But he is getting a layer right now, so I'm kind of curious what he's going to go into next. Only on 2 gas so far, so actually taking a third right now. Do you think maybe early mutas might go down? Actually doing double Evo Chamber. I feel like you do early mutas, but if he's planning going for double Evo Chamber, and if he was doing that to wall off, I feel like he'd do that at the third, but on the natural, I feel like he's probably just going to do it to get the upgrades, so maybe not mutas instead of walling off.
No, I don't think so. I think going for fast mutaliths is quite a risk in ZUP. You died so many kind of early pushes, and the Blink Stalkers, which are relatively common opener as well, especially 3-base Blink Stalker all in we see quite often, or not quite often, but sometimes at least. And yeah, I mean, if he had just been going for that straight rush to mutas as fast as possible, this little Sentry Stalker poke with the Mothership Core to recall them out if they get into any trouble would pretty much end the game. As it is, he's got his Roach Warren, he's got a bunch of Lings. He should be pretty okay holding this off. He's actually even got the Hydra Den out, and Hydras are really good on sentries.
Most definitely, Hydras are almost exactly what you want to actually push this back, or like Cats, you do Swarm Hosts, but probably not going to see that right here. Some nice engagement with the Lings. Actually, we'll have to recall back to his base.
Damn, Sentry goes down.
Very, very nice. And oh yeah, Sentry went down too. That's very, very good for WarreN here. Taking a 4th off the bat of this, and I'd love to see this creep spread to just keep going right here, because that'll give him so much map control, and especially with the 4th, he wants to be very careful and be able to watch out for any early all-ins, which I'm almost 100% sure we're going to see from Lucky here. Or not an all-in, but an early pressure.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's getting a little bit past the time. I think that was his early pressure, really. When you're going for this, the fairly fast third build, he chroned out Gateway, but that might just have been to be a bit deceptive. And going for the fast third, you quite often see just a push out with sentries. Sometimes it kills the third. Not often, but sometimes. It usually gets a few workers or forces some units, and against WarreN it forced out a few Lings, but he didn't overcommit to it at all. Actually held it off really nicely, killed off a sentry, and of course forced the Mothership Core to use its energy lifting up. And now it's stabilized a bit. WarreN's getting up towards his full saturation on 4 bases even. Probably not going to add on too many more drones, if any, and just start units. With his Infestation Pick coming in and 2-2, he could well hit a really, really scary Roach Hydra Viper timing at about 13 minutes, moving out about 13 minutes, and hitting BlackBearMe's third base that could be tough to deal with. Again, he won't really have the High Templar to do anything about this unless he sees it coming. No, he will have the High Templar to deal with it.
He is getting that, but even with one of these Vipers, just how this how the engagement would take place, I'm almost 100% sure that how the engagement would take place is WarreN moving up the ramp into the third of Lucky. But really, if there are some Vipers right in that position, pulling even one or two of the Colossus down is almost going to be completely dead, because a Colossus it can only pull back, but generally you'll see the Zerg player quite heavily onto the ramp right there. So probably if any Vipers can get down and those abductions going on, and it's also just on the edge of the ramp, so what I'm trying to say here, on the just off to the left hand side of the minerals on the third base, any pulls would basically kill the Colossus because they would not be able to follow them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's usually the situation. That's why the pull is, why the abduct is such a fantastic ability, is because it just moves them into the center of your army. And Colossi, I mean, they're not that tanky. Nothing in StarCraft is so tanky that it can survive one or two volleys from 200 Hydras. But WarreN's just moving up and preparing for his push out now, sniping pylons and trying to get a little bit of extra damage, maybe trading off some of his lings. But he sees the Colossus, he's going to have to pull a little bit back from this. He doesn't want to take too much damage. But of course, BlackBearMe, the big thing that why High Templar are so good against this kind of push is not only they feedback the Vipers and just pop them instantly, because Vipers are pretty much always on full energy, but the Storms make up the splash damage, that even if the Vipers do get off all their ducts, every Hydralisk is left at 1 health from the Storms, and they just die so fast. So it's really nice. If BlackBearMe can if Lucky can make that happen. WarreN though is preparing for a tech switch behind this after his push. With looks like it's going to be into sort of Swarm Host Mutalisk style. He's got a Spire coming up, or possibly no, the Spire's probably just more for Corruptors. With Enduring Locust and a bunch of Static D.
Yeah, I agree with you. At least right now, the Templars are very, very good. But really, even with these 3 Colossus, just for the moment, it's going to be so hard for WarreN to deal with because of the early aggression that Lucky put on. He does have so many sentries. So any amount of splitting up this army in any direction is going to be really, really good and hit this army of WarreN very, very hard. I really like that, actually, pulling the Vipers back so the scouts would not see it, and then taking the scouts off. Spire going down, almost, or actually not going down, but almost done. And right now for Lucky, I'm a little bit worried about just his gateway composition here. Now I was saying he does have a lot of sentries and will have a decent retreat path, but really there's no zealots. There's a lot of stalkers, but there's actually there is blink for these stalkers, so interesting from there. It'll really depend on how these storms and these force fields come down, I feel like, this battle.
Yeah, and now WarreN is setting up a big concave on all this army. Nice storm goes down though, and WarreN's actually going to be pushed back by that, seeing the High Templar. He's got his Swarm Host and his Great Spire on the way, but he, I think, still wants to hold off Lucky for a little while longer. He's got a big bang for a remax, but I mean, if he takes the engagement too close to his own base, WarreN will be able to do critical damage before the remax comes out.
Most definitely, yeah. He's got to take. Yeah. He's got to take the engagement very, very carefully, and especially with the creep spread right now for WarreN. I mean, he could move these 5 or 8 spine crawlers up very, very far and not even have to pull back that much, especially with these swarm hosts. Like I was saying, good creep spread with swarm hosts just allows you to have so many spore crawlers or spine crawlers to defend, and especially while Lucky is going for, or he did get a Stargate out, he's not really making anything out of it yet, but especially if he ever goes in a Stargate, just that creep spread will help him so much to defend right here in WarreN's position. He does have three swarm hosts right now, but while Lucky's trying to clear out this creep, WarreN's just getting a better and better concave right here, and such a good defense, really. I don't think Lucky wants to push up this with no immortals. A lot of stalkers, but just no immortals in this composition. It'll be very hard to break the back of this Zerg player.
Yeah, stalkers get worse and worse the later the game goes, and swarm hosts basically just force the game into a late game scenario where stalkers are at their worst, and Lucky can get damage where he can. I really like this little group of units down here that WarreN has, just to try and stop Lucky from blinking up and using the ability of his stalkers and Colossi to just walk up into WarreN's third base and onwards. But for now, it looks like they're just kind of dancing around each other's armies, trying to look for a good engagement. But Lucky can't take it with the Swarm Host and with the spine crawlers, and WarreN can't really take it without those or it's much more difficult to find a way to take it. So they're both just sort of dancing around and positioning, or jockeying for that positioning. It looks like WarreN decided he wants to trade off some of his army, so moving the Roach Hydra in.
Nice storms.
Got a couple of storms go down, and nice feedbacks as well. The Vipers were the really valuable part of that army. The Roach Hydra is going to be replaced pretty much immediately with Corruptors. So what he wanted to keep there was the Vipers, if at all possible. And he lost them. So
definitely, and I think those Vipers, I don't really know if that put him back, but really right here, WarreN wants so many more Swarm Hosts than only 4. They're really going to do nothing in this position, and he's not making any more Swarm Hosts at all. He's actually making Roaches and Corruptors, which is good versus this composition, but definitely just, if you're going to go Swarm Hosts, you want to make 7 to like 13 probably. I'm gonna go for just in that nice range. You want a lot more of them, but these Stalkers and great force fields. Corruptors may be able to get rid of these Colossus, but with so many Stalkers, they should be, especially with the Blink, they should be actually fine. But Colossus actually going down one by one. The 3rd Colossus will go down. The 4th will also go down quite quickly. Wow, I was really expecting those Stalkers to take down the Corruptors, but it looks like they are trying to take down as much of the ground army as they can.
Yeah, Corruptors are a lot tankier than Vikings. It takes a lot to kill Corruptors. But yeah, I mean, there's still a bunch of Stalkers left over. And this is kind of what I was worried might happen. Some Roach reinforcements coming in, especially with the nice surround. Means the Blink Stalkers aren't so good when they're completely surrounded. They don't have anyone to blink back to. And he is going to be pushed off. So yeah, actually, I don't think WarreN took too much damage from that. A little bit of econ maybe on his 4th, but yeah, that was really nice. I was a bit worried that BlackBearMe would be able to overrun before WarreN could get his Remax in, but it looks like the Remax came just in time, and without overcommitting too much to Swarm Hosts, WarreN now has a really, really nice potential for a Broodlord Ultralisk army, which is a very, very different sort of scenario than the Swarm Hosts Lucky might have thought he was facing.
Most definitely, with so many Corruptors actually having 19 Corruptors here, that's so many Corruptors to be able to go into Broodlords, and he is getting Ultralisks out right now, and getting Ultralisk +2 armor. So definitely 5/5 Ultralisks will be very, very hard to deal with. He's trying to keep it hidden right here, but actually just barely. Oh, will he? I'm not actually sure if Lucky saw that, but he seemed to keep those Ultralisks hidden. And right now, just versus Lucky's composition, I mean, 3 Void Rays, yes, that'll be good versus the Ultralisks, but really with the amount of Stalkers he has, he really needs more robo-based army to defend this. But he is pumping out with three Stargates at a time, 3 Void Rays, so it should be a nice composition, but will he have that composition in time to be able to fight off this very large army? But really, these Corruptors, I almost feel like you just only go ground, because you can do the Void Rays to defend the Corruptors, but really, without the Void Rays, Corruptors are useless.
Yeah, nice Storm go down is going to hurt a lot of these Corruptors. A lot of the tankiness of Corruptors comes from their natural armor, but of course the spell damage ignores that. But it looks like there's still enough Corruptors to overpower these Void Rays, and on the ground, the Ultralists are being focused down, but they're getting a lot of damage down on the Stalkers as they do that. 3 more Void Rays come in, going to focus down a few of the Roaches, but the Corruptors are still there, still doing their damage, and they're going to take all of these out. Oh my god, so many DTs. Looks like somebody forgot to bring detection with his army.
It definitely, he will be pushed back for right now. And also, just off the back of this, WarreN's original creep spread has been completely pushed back. So really, right now, he's retreating on to no vision at all. So he's got to be very, very careful. He will be the overseer of this army now. But right now, 3 Archons being morphed in, which won't be great, but definitely be very good. They won't be great, but it's definitely a lot more than what he had before. So he will be able to defend that, but he lost the majority of his Stalkers and Blink. So a little bit worried for him there. And he's trying to get charged right now, and I'd really love to see from WarreN. I know he has these three Storm Hosts as more defensive, but I'd love to see him move them up and just gradually beat down this army, because there are High Templars, but there's no Colossus. There's nothing to take it out. It will kill something every time. It will kill a little bit of something.
Yeah, I mean, the Archons are pretty good still. He had the DTs for the defense and might as well make something out of them. And Archons are great on Ultras, because they're really good on any air unit, really, just because of how they clump up, and the Archons have a small splash radius. Broodlords, though, Archons aren't so good on Broodlords. They're big, they're clunky, and they can't really get on top of the, or underneath the Broodlords to hunt them down, but I don't know, it looks like the Photon Overcharge is going to push this army back, because Photon Overcharge is just too strong. Definitely more than match for 6 Ultralisks.
Yeah, but on the way we have 3 Broodlords, just isn't a lot, but if he starts to make that number higher, right now, Lucky is on 4 bases, or is actually on 5 bases, but his army is just not that big. And I know he's got a lot of gateways down to keep using those units, but really his army just right now is not the. Actually, is a pretty good composition versus this, but it's just not that big generally. He wants a lot more in that army than what he has right now.
Yeah. Oh, the Vipers come in. They're going to yank away those. Oh my God! Actually, one of them is going to survive. Just though. Damn.
Just barely.
The Swarmboat's still alive. Oh my God! They're not quite going to get High Templar.
Yeah.
That would be pretty big, but now WarreN's able to siege up. A big engagement coming. He's got a fantastic concave here. The Broodlords are going to be able to rain down death, but big storms come in. Actually, there's not that much. Oh my God, the Stalkers pulling forwards underneath the Broodlords, but the Ulcalists are just going to tear them apart.
GG. WarreN takes game 3 after a great game 2 with that 7-pool drone.